believe it. That's Clone Force 99.
This is Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair.
Obviously, we are different.
We're all you're getting.
Ha! We're all you need!
They call themselves the Bad Batch. Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. The defective clones with desirable mutations.
This is one meeting I don't want to miss.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, episode 90. My name is Stevie Kicks, and I am one of your 5 hosts today. And with us, as always, the other Dad Batchers, your space daddies. First up, he's the real-life cross dad in a boarding terminal, ready to fly. Brian Cook, how are you, man?
I'm alive and here to take off into space.
I know that you were set to be on a flight right now, and you literally changed your flight just so you could be on the pod. I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough for that.
That's what I heard.
100%. I have nothing else going on in my life but to be here with you guys. And I'm very glad to be here because today was pretty freaking awesome. I think everyone would ask. So thank you for giving me a hand there. That was cool. Thank you.
Right on, man. Make sure you're plugged in. You've got power.
Good.
Make sure you
Fully
have
charged.
refreshments, and we should be good.
Finger is ready on the mute button to avoid distraction.
Thanks. Next up, this is my partner, Scooney U-Turn Singleton, but you can call him Raimi Shanaday. What's up, man?
I'm good. So we had what a wild ride. We watched the episode. Some of us watched the episode together last night, which was cool. Got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, a lot to talk about. I think we should let the listeners know that if you have not seen the series finale of The Bad Batch, stop right now, because we're straight into spoilers right off the bat.
I don't know why you'd even be in here.
Yeah, this is
yeah,
like
we're going to talk about it. Yeah,
this is the emotional support group for the post show.
This is therapy.
I gotta hand it to you. That's a good call there. It's a good call there, Stevie.
Next up, this is our specialty costume manufacturer, designer, and painter extraordinaire, not Alpha Ignition, Push Broom John Rodriguez. How are you, man?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. How long? Welcome back. You were gone last week.
Yep.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Good to see your face.
Thank you.
Voice.
He's a nut gore. He's a nut gore.
So
and
I gotta ask you, man.
What's that?
What happened with Alpha Ignition?
No, yeah. Well, you guys know, I don't want that, I guess, handle anymore. But
I don't want it anymore. What do you want?
Preferably, I would like my name, like John Rodriguez or John R. Even, or J Rodriguez would be cool. Whatever, any combination of that, without too many. J Rod would be cool, yeah. But all of those they've been taken for years, and
But one-handed John.
One-handed John. Well, I have both my hands, so that would not. Yeah.
You mean one-handed Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I changed my name last week for like a minute, and then I changed it back because
someone stole it.
That's like once a year thing.
They didn't steal it, and I remember I heard Raimi talk. Yeah. But so someone followed me who was Alpha Ignition _ right as I changed it. That's where I was like, oh, someone tried to make it and they couldn't because Instagram allows you to still hold on to it for like 14 days. So like the person tried, I assume, and then they were like, dang, I'll just put the thing there and people will think that's him. And
one more week and then I can get our Shanaday.
You can have it.
Yeah, 7 days. Yeah.
And all 3 followers, that'll get you.
Shanaday.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back, man. And keep the Alpha Ignition because you may not want it, but it's been thrust upon you.
Yeah, it's like a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Sort
It's a
of.
tattoo, man. It's like a tattoo, dude.
I'm
It's
not
just-
no, but I can get rid of that. I can pick a new name, and people will know me as that.
And finally, he can be found on the dashboard of your next cockpit. It's tech.badbatch. Joe Lara. How are you, man?
Good.
Damn.
CX.
Damn.
Oh.
I kind of want to print some
CX2,
battles
Joe
now for
Lara.
my dashboard. So Joe can
Yeah.
always be with me.
Just don't print it in
I'm gonna do
PLA
that.
because it'll melt.
It'll melt.
Oh,
Hey,
it'll
can I
melt.
do a quick
Yeah.
shout out for Rachel? Look at
Yeah.
this.
Ah, there it is. It's Techfish.
Dude.
This is epic. This is epic,
The
Rachel.
Techfish.
It's Techfish. It's so cute. It's this plushy, squishy, like doesn't even smell like fish. It's Techfish.
That's good.
Yeah.
Important.
Just like the batchers that she made.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm doing well. It's good to be back, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You've been gone for a couple weeks. Thank you for
Damn,
thank you for
everyone's been
gracing
gone,
us with
dude.
your presence.
Everybody just be gone.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. Just super busy like everybody else life, you know. And just constant traveling, but I think it's going to die down in the summer, which is good. It'd be nice to kind of get some steady weekends, some steadiness. It's just been nonstop.
Yeah, man.
Nope. Yeah.
You gotta get back in the garage and get some build time in.
Yeah, I am. I went to the Blix and I bought a bunch of stuff to get ready to paint, but
Blick, hell yeah.
Blick, yeah, sorry, it's Blick, not Blix. And
It's not Mr. Blick's paint store. It's just Blick. Yeah.
it's just Blick, yeah. So I got some materials, but I just need time in the garage.
Dope.
If I was there, I'd give you a hand.
Yeah.
We
Only one though.
That's
we
The rim
so
shot?
so there was 3 of us that made it to the midnight watch party last night. Myself, Raimi, and John. And we recorded ourselves. I don't know, like I guess it's a thing that people do on the internet.
Reactions.
A
Was it
reaction video?
Yeah. Because afterwards, I'm like, what did we do? It's not
So-
like we were just
We
filming
didn't
ourselves.
talk over it really. I mean,
A little bit.
occasionally a comment, but
Yeah.
that was it.
This is Brian.
Just one-handed yeah.
Uh-huh.
Home Alone with
Yeah,
one hand.
he's like this. Yeah.
So I've got that uploaded ready to premiere on the YouTube.
Oh.
Oh, okay, cool. I was
so
wondering
that'll-
if you were
that'll
gonna
be up there too. Yeah.
put it out there. Okay, cool.
But yeah.
We've been doing like 2 years of trying to build a YouTube, whatever, and you're gonna release this like reaction video, and it's
the
gonna
last
like-
one.
500,000 views in like 2
On
seconds.
the last
It's
episode.
like, what have we been doing?
It's like, man, we should have been doing these, huh?
On that note, I'm going to blindside everybody because we talked about this forever ago, but not on the show, and I'm going to talk about it live. I'm curious what everybody here and plus the audience thinks about the idea of us going back and doing like commentary tracks for
Like Mystery Science
for
Theater.
the show. Yeah, like that, like where we literally do talk over it. Like it'll be stuff we've all seen before at this point because but literally
Let's
go
see
back
what
and
the
just
chat
talk
says.
over it. I'm
So
I'm throwing
there's-
it out there to see
Because
what
I'm
people
curious
think.
too, but I don't want to be narcissistic and be like, yeah, bro, that'd be the best
There's
thing
a-
ever.
Yeah, that's fine.
It might not be. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
100% love
podcast.
that. Yes.
There's a
commentary
podcast I
track.
used to follow back in the day, and for their Patreon users, they would they would do like a commentary for like let's say Rogue One, and they would release it as a podcast timed to the actual like movie so that you could like plug it in
Yeah,
as you're
as
watching
you're
the
watching.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. You at the beginning they'll be like, okay, you're gonna cue it up, and as soon as you see the Lucasfilm start to fade in, hit pause, and then you're gonna sync up, and then we're gonna hit unpause in 3, 2,
And then
1, and then
play
they
at the
go,
same
and then
time,
it's
right.
synced up, so everybody's on the same time.
Yeah,
Good
So we can
idea.
do the
Do
same
it.
kind of thing.
I'm down.
Hey,
We gotta do.
comedy,
We gotta
yeah.
do it. We gotta do it. We gotta do it together so that way
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like incoherent.
Yeah.
And I got
We
it,
need to do
Brian.
something.
I got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're like the weird dad at the dinner table at a restaurant trying to get the waitress's
Sitting at the
attention.
end. Yeah.
It's like, hey, by the way, Do you know what we're talking about, Remy?
No. What are
Oh.
we talking about? Oh God. Thank you guys. For as much as I tried to lay low, I thought this might be the year I could pull it off, but then
Nope.
thanks
It's only
to
gonna
my
get worse.
thanks to my squad here, it got out there, and I do appreciate all the shout outs and comments that I got. So thank you, everybody.
And
I'm really
we
glad.
should also let
I'm really glad
we should also
Steven
let the
saw
listeners
my
know on the YouTube right now. If anybody wants to put up a super chat to donate to Ramey's birthday fund, they can do that through the YouTube chat.
No,
It's a lot of
nothing
money.
to do with me.
All those
And any-
candles. It's a lot.
and
It's
anything-
expensive.
Sushi.
And anything that you put in the comment for the super chat, we will read that on the show, and it will make it into the podcast.
Oh dear God.
I promise you that.
It's
right.
my birthday.
So before we get into the show, we're just gonna dive straight into this review. So no workbench this week. No news. We gave Ramey the week off for his birthday.
Oh,
So
nice.
I feel like we have a lot to talk about. This was a 1 hour episode. But before we get into that, Ramey, I think you have a very exciting announcement that you'd like to make.
I do. So, I have been working with some friends of ours from the Star Wars community. We've the Dad Batch, like we do our show. We've got our format. There's stuff that makes sense for us to talk about. There's stuff that maybe isn't a great fit for this show, but there's so much content and so many good, talented people in the community and in our circle of friends that we wanted to try and start to branch out. So we are going to introduce an additional show that I'll be producing. It'll be part of the Dad Batch podcast family of shows, but it's not this show. None of us are going to be on it. I mean, maybe once in a while on that, but it's not about us. It's about bringing additional content to the listeners, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's the same circle of folks that follow us and Armor Party and these other shows. Like, we're all friends. We all are trying to provide content that isn't overlapping with each other's stuff and just kind of bring more stuff. So I've got a trailer here that's got like about a minute and a half worth of conversation from our two new hosts. And these two folks within the community, they do an amazing job of taking everyday items that you could find at, the regular stores or the thrift stores or Army Surplus or you name it, finding it off the rack and being able to make it look Star Warsy, whether it already does by itself and you're just going to kind of go Disney bounding, for example, with something that you find, or you're going to take it and actually make it look just like it did on screen. So without further ado, here is the reveal of the next show joining the Dad Batch network.
I feel really connected to Ferrix because it feels, and this is like, I don't know, kind of crazy, but maybe other people understand. It feels very Detroit to me, very like old school. We're in the shop. I mean, that's where I'm from, right? And
Blue
I'm used to
collar,
people
right?
like, you're in the shop, you're working on a vehicle. Yeah, it's blue collar. It's working in the factories. It's working the plants. It's working in the mines. It's very Michigan is what I saw, which was why I connected to it. And it was very much like, those are my
Yeah.
dad's coveralls that he used to put on to go out to the shed with my grandpa to work
Yeah.
on a tractor, right?
I know that they were talking about inspiration from like Japanese like workwear for the entirety of Ferrix, and it's really
Okay.
subtle. It's like really subtle changes from like what a smuggler would look like to what they were doing there. And the same thing with like we're getting too far into the weeds now, but the difference with like the Acolyte trailer, I was seeing a lot of like South Asian inspired stuff, a lot of patterns and stuff, a lot of the same colors from Ferrix, but completely different because completely different cuts, fabrics, and like patterns and everything.
Used differently, right?
Yeah.
So the new show is called Off the Rack Rebellion, hosted by Billy Maddox and Kate Ryder. So Billy Maddox on Instagram and One Scavenger's Wardrobe. And so if anybody's not already familiar with their work, they do incredible bound type costumes where it's just stuff that they find. Billy puts links out there to the items that he finds, and you can go like on Amazon and pick those up. And Kate's always got like different looks that she's doing and different contests that like trying to make something that matches a particular character in a Disney show or whatever. So I think that this is going to be really, really good. It's a good addition to the network. It's content that fits right in with our audience. It's stuff that we're always talking about, and super talented people behind it. So I can't wait.
That looks cool. Sounds cool.
I'm really excited for the show because this is going to be like my instant way to just get outfits for bounding to like Disney without having to think about it. They're literally just going to tell me what to wear.
Yeah, they'll give you the shopping list practically.
Thank you for the super chat, Nate. He says, "Happy birthday to the best Pabu Frick there is. May you always have big nozzle energy."
You got to hand it to Nate too. He started it off. So
dang.
And then of course we've got May. He said, "Enjoy the birthday gift, Echo."
Oh, super nice.
May actually made some additional of the little straw stars, the straw stars. She made some extra ones that I think she's sending to me.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the gift she's
And Angela says, "Whiskey for Raimi."
There you go. Nice, Angela. That's cool.
What's your drink of choice, Raimi? An old fashioned?
It depends. It depends. That root beer old fashioned that we got at that place down at Universal was really good. We gotta go back there. But yeah, it just depends. Sometimes it's just beer. Sometimes it's something fancier.
All right. Well, let's get into it, guys. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. If you'd like to show your support for the show, pick up your brand new Echo Space Daddy and limited edition Echo Space Mom shirt. Yes, you heard that.
Echo Space Mom.
I mean, let's face it, Echo really is the space mom of the Dad Batch. There's so many memes of like art out there where he's like drinking his red wine out of the box or whatever.
Make sure you click on the merch tab at thedadbatch.com.
We've done these 1,000 times, boys. You know what to do.
When have we ever followed orders?
I don't want to read this for the last time. All right, guys. This week's episode review is for The Bad Batch, Season 3, Episode 15, titled The Cavalry Has Arrived. With an original Disney Plus air date of May 1st, 2024, with a runtime of 51 minutes. This episode was directed by Stuart Lee, Brad Rao, and Saul Ruiz. Written by Jennifer Corbett, story editor Matt Miknovitz, and music by Kevin, Sean, and Deanna Kiner. The Disney Plus description: Omega and the Bad Batch battle Imperial forces for their freedom. This was a heavy one, guys. I'm happy that we got 51 minutes.
Just the intro, the way it started with the black and white logo and the music, it was so dark.
Set the tone, yeah.
So dark.
Heavy.
All right, let's go around the table. Joe, you kicked it off, so all the thoughts. Just let it out, man.
I'll say a few because I want to hear your guys's like what you pull in. A couple of really cool things. I thought Wrecker was gonna bite it there for a few times. Like
several times.
Like several times, right?
Yeah.
So it recovered from when he wrestled that big saber-tooth thing, right? What was that creature called? I forgot.
That bear thing.
Yeah. So he's recovering from that, and he's obviously Hunter's giving him some Bacta or whatever to kind of get him going. And then when they start running, because Hunter's like 5 clicks, and so they start running. The other two are like boing, 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 and Wrecker's kind of barely slowly moving. I'm like, okay, this is not good.
Yeah.
And it happened a couple
I'm
other
fine.
times,
I'm fine. I'm fine.
dude. And then
He
the
needs
conversation.
another med pack.
And then I'll just say one more thing because there's so much I want to keep going on. But the conversation that Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker had, where it's like, hey, I'm going to go by myself. Wrecker, you're not going to make it. And Clone Force 99 died with Tech. Oh my gosh, like that line. Oh, dude. And then Wrecker's like, no, shut up, dude. We're going in. Like, this is what we do. This is what we do.
Joe, before we move on, I gotta ask you this because you provide, for our listeners who don't know or who haven't tuned in before, you are distinguished military. You served. Are you comfortable talking like what you served in?
Yeah, I'm fine. I shared a little bit at Armor Party of what I used to do. Yeah, I don't mind.
Like what? We've talked in the past how Jennifer Corbett, also military background, has been the consultant for Clone Wars, specifically brought in because of her military background. And then, she's had the opportunity to run a show like this. When you have those kind of scenes, like you just talked about,
Mm-hmm.
does that strike you as something that is taken from the battlefield?
1,000%. Yeah, like it's interesting how we as fans approach it from our perspective, right? We're watching. We observe the world from one perspective, and so when you watch a show, my mind goes to what I've experienced, and my very last operation. I don't talk about it, and I won't go into too much detail, but there were times where, like, this is it. We're not coming back, and we know, and we're talking about this, and we're like, you ready to do this? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. That conversation happened for me. And so, again, it's just everybody's watching it from different angles. Everybody's watching it from different things and experiences. And so that right there was a legit exchange. And then the tactics, when they started moving and they started tapping, they're like peeling and doing bounding. I thought that was legit. Like they're doing a little tap, less man, keep going. It was just cool. And that's all Jennifer. She spent many years in the Navy. Even some of the people that she didn't like in the military, the kind of a-hole leaders, are woven into some of these characters that she's expressed. It's fascinating. I think we would do the same if you had access to the show and write stuff like this. You would put a little bit of yourself into it. So yeah, I watch everything from my lens, and yeah.
And that's so crazy. It's so crazy because this is quote unquote a kid's show, and this is the level of quality that they get.
Yeah, no, it's legit, man. It's legit.
That's awesome. Who's next? Brian, tell me what you thought.
So I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch because I'm in Colorado, and I'm rooming with a good buddy of mine who's not big Star Wars, but he's from California too, so he's sleeping. And I'm like, okay, where do I watch this? How do I do this? Like, do I go to the hallway? Like, how am I going to watch this? Because I'm probably going to lay in this bed and try to watch with my headphones on and start crying at some point in time. But I pulled it off, and it was awesome. And I really, what Joe said, that was like really when it kicked me off, that scene. And thank you, Joe. Always got to thank you for your service for us. And I always appreciate it when you share that stuff with us, as you know, and you and I have had a lot of talks about that. So thank you. Thank you for that. But that moment, where Crosshair again is trying to downplay his worth and say, I don't, I'm going to do it. You guys go. And yeah, Wrecker was like, nah, man, like this, we're going. Like, there's no discussion here. We're going in and we're going to make this happen. That was that set the tone for this whole episode as to how far it was going to go. When the alarms all went off, when the Zillow beast was getting out and it was the full Rogue One alarms, I was like, ooh, here we go. I thought for sure we were all going to go down. Yeah, definitely. I have always expressed that I thought that we were all going to get killed off, and that was going to be the way it went. I was very excited to not see that. when there's so many moments. I'm trying to remember it all because it was so early this morning when I watched it. But man, when they murked, not Rampart, but Hemlock and Omega, that whole scene. Let's talk about that. Like, Crosshair is missing a hand.
Amazing.
What number one? What's up with Star Wars and hands getting?
Wait! Before you talk about that scene, I gotta know, dude. You got your hand cut off, man. Crosshair has no hand.
He has no right hand.
Hey, the shaking stopped.
Exactly. No
I think it's still I think it's still on that deck out there, just
there,
like
yeah,
twitching occasionally.
No, but that was the coolest
Phantom
thing.
Lynn.
But man, that scene where Crosshair's got the gun on Hunter's shoulder, they're working together, which is always epic.
That was rad.
And he's using his left hand, and he's like, I don't know if I can do it. And Hunter's like, no, Omega knows what she's doing. You know what you're doing.
Like, wait for her signal. Yeah.
Do it. Yeah.
Like that. And then, of course, her pausing, looking at the two of them, and then running over there. Crosshair, a big hug.
Oh, man.
The three of us, during our live watch party last night, the three of us said something to each other when that moment happened. And as you were saying that right now, I just thought of something that Hunter hasn't given Crosshair that sort of like advice to like build him up since literally the first episode of season 1. So we've gone the entire series without that. So for that to hit was just, man, we were a mess.
Yeah, that part, and then as far as like a personal note for me, the very end, when older Omega comes up and she's in her flight gear and she's leaving, you know, my daughter Levi's about to go off to college in August.
Oh, dang. Oh, yeah.
That scene just like got me. So it was something else. But that ended it for me. I was like, oh, great.
That's part of how we watch it from our perspectives, right? Like like for you, Levi's about to leave, and it just certain things hit home a certain way. It's wild.
Yeah.
Damn.
That the scene of them all sitting there haggard on Pabu. They're just like, Crosshair's only got one hand. Like,
it was us after Celebration.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Dude,
even sent that picture. It was like, holy crap.
I'm telling you, man, like that's again back to military. That's a real feeling. You guys felt it after Celebration.
Yeah.
The Avengers did it eating shawarma. There's always like a scene of like after
I think
all
we
the
actually
adrenaline's gone and you're depleted.
Yeah, I think we actually said that after Celebration when we were sitting there. We were like, mission complete. Like that's exactly how we felt.
I thought you were going to say, do you want to get your shawarma? I don't know what it is, but I want to go get it.
It's the adrenaline just like depleted. It's gone. And now you're just like, ugh. Not even a Red Bull will pick you up. You're just like spent.
Brian, you're going to be going through that very soon, which is, like I said on weeks before, the hardest thing that a dad can do and the hardest thing that a child can do, leaving the nest, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't envy you because John and I we don't have to deal with that for at least like what 15 18 more years.
a good minute. Yeah, you have time.
And then lastly, thank you for that, Stephen. And lastly, it's been so rad going on Instagram, social media, seeing like Michelle and Dee's like interaction, the stuff they posted on Star Wars, just them like thanking the fans for like being so into the show and making it what it is.
Brad and Jennifer talking about it.
Yeah, Brad and Jennifer. I just watched or just read an interview on StarWars.com about that, and I don't know what rec. Dee was going through all the voices of the Bad Batch in one of those. And when he talks about, and he does it in Wrecker's voice, and then he's like, we're all a family, and now, or we thank you for being in the family too, or something like that. That was all that stuff just like makes it so awesome. I really thought they were going to kill everyone off, and I really like the way they ended it. It's so cool, and there's some open things at the end, which I'm sure we can talk about a little bit later because we got to go around the room. So.
Steven, you're muted.
Ooh.
Speaking of those open-ended things at the end of the show, I want to hear John, dude. What do you think of this episode?
I mean, I share a lot of the same things you guys were mentioning earlier, Brian and Joe. I liked. I'll just mention a few things I liked in the episode. I like seeing Scorch getting starched.
Dude, he went off so easy. He just
Scorch got scorched.
He was a jerk, and he got wrecked, and that was that. There was a thing that let me think. There's a few things. When Rampart was checking out all that gear, all the equipment and stuff, and there was a symbol that Steven saw. You're going to talk about that, right? Okay. So I'll skip that. I really liked, like Brian said, seeing Old Man Hunter and old Omega interacting, and him finally letting go after what seemed like a decade, maybe. And we were talking about this earlier before we were recording, and I asked you guys, I'm like, because when season 7 of the Clone Wars ended, we had sort of already knew it was coming because we already experienced the abrupt ending before, and then we were blessed to get season 7, and then that ended with closure and correctly, whatever. And then then we got the Bad Batch, so I didn't I didn't feel like there was so much of a loss in the Clone Wars because we were getting something else out of it, and I think we're gonna get something else out of it either out of Bad Batch as well. But I feel like not empty, but there's something like something's missing.
It's a loss. It's a void.
But I didn't feel like that with the Clone Wars, but I'm feeling it with the Bad Batch.
But there wasn't a character in the Clone Wars that we literally identified as ourselves the way that we've aligned ourselves with characters in this show.
Except for the Bad Batch, right?
So I think
maybe that's
part
it.
of it.
Yeah. Because it's not an end of an era. We're still doing this, and we're not going to stop potting because the show ended. But it's like the thing we were using as an identity kind of is over, and it does feel a bit.
Dude, we're gonna carry the torch for the.
Of course,
next
yeah. We're all
decade.
still going to be the Bad Batch and the Dad Batch, and
yep. Stormtroopers were back in the 80s, and yet there's still a lot of people cosplay as Stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Anyway.
we'll talk about the next at the end here too.
yeah. There's more. There's plenty more. Also, how about Echo just getting the job done? I feel like between, I guess it was this episode. I don't recall now because we watched that episode last night, kind of late, and I think the episode before that he was also in the Stormtrooper gear. Yeah, and he was just by himself getting the job done. Yeah, because I didn't talk about it. I think because
you weren't here.
I wasn't here, right? But that week and this week, he was just nailing everything, getting get like laser focused, doing what he had to do, and I feel like no one really talks about it. He's kind of a big deal.
No hesitation. Yeah, hesitation.
Especially with Emery. Emery is like, "Hey, Echo," and he was like, But I like that she, we were predicting that she might turn, and I'm glad she did finally.
And John, to that point too, with Echo, even when the mission finished, everybody saved. Echo still stopped. He's still going. He's not stopping. He's like, we need to get these other clones to this one place, and we need to help them get assimilated.
Because they weren't done. They weren't.
Echo's not going to stop until he has no breath. That's just Echo's mentality. Yeah.
And I feel
he doesn't know anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he could have let Crosshair borrow a attachment like right away. So at the end, like when we were sitting on Pabu, like he just wasn't just like with a stub. Like Echo
Yes,
could have
dude.
given him a little spike or his TK hand or something. Like,
Well, you know how Fire Puncher can break. You know, Fire Puncher can break down. What if they rig it up so the Fire Puncher
It's
can
a-
just like
Oh,
be
it's like
on
Mega
and he's
Man.
just like, yeah, I'd be like Mega, like
I was hoping Echo would go
Megatron, dude. Yeah.
Mega Man.
you'd walk up to Crosshair and just instead of give him
Megacross.
a nub bump instead of a fist bump, you know. But
Nub bump. He's like,
Let's touch nubs, dude.
wow.
but yeah. I and what else? What else? What else? Obviously,
your
there
time,
were
man.
big
Take your
moments.
time.
You know, yeah. I'm trying to think.
Dude, the Zillow Beast, man. Freaking
Zillow Beast, yeah, that was kind of gnarly. One thing I kind of don't love about the Zillow Beast is its hands. They're kind of ribbony. They're like ribbons. You know, they're like.
Who is
They're,
that one?
They're not fingers. You know, they're not. They're just like little like almost 2-dimensional ribbons. I don't know. I don't love that.
I don't understand what the thing coming out of the Zillow Beast's back is.
It's another appendage.
It's another.
That's what I'm
arm.
saying, Joe.
Hey,
Like
Hey,
it's coming out
It's
the
a
back.
third arm.
wasn't that what they call the loose skin on your elbow? A weenus.
The ween? This the weenus?
That's the term.
Is that really the technical term for that?
It's the technical term. Raimi, what's wrong, dude?
Nothing.
Don't Google that, anybody. Please do
Yeah,
not
stop.
look that up.
Stop right now.
John,
His
John,
weenie-
who's the Jedi Master that looks like a snake and has got a beard and he's got you know what I mean? He's freaking.
Oh,
Was that from the video game? From
No, the cartoon, the first Clone Wars cartoon, like the
Oh.
old Cartoon Network. You know what I'm talking about, Raimi?
yes, Ramses. Something.
he's got-
give me. Let me Google.
He's got Zillow Beast fingers. It's like
Yeah.
freaking noodles and spaghetti.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
dude.
guys are looking that up. I just wanted to
Terrace
say that
Anubis?
Kendall.
No.
Want to say thank you to Kendall. He's wishing Raimi happy birthday, Mr. Echo.
nice.
You need a cake to eat with candles. I don't know why
Yeah.
you would want to eat candles. You can have my chore money to get a special one with a lot of candles,
Aw.
straight from Kai's mouth.
Aw,
Oppo.
dude,
Oppo
you
Ramses.
just
Oppo
took the
Rances.
kid's chore money.
Hope
Raimi,
you're
give
happy,
it back.
Raimi. You just
Give it
took,
back.
took
Maybe
Kendall's chore money.
Crosshair can get a Zillow hand.
It'd be like a mop. It's like a mop, essentially. It's like
Oppo
Anyway.
Rancis
Anyway.
is the one.
I think
I'm
go ahead.
satisfied. Sorry,
Racist.
I'm satisfied with the finale. I think for the most part, everyone is happy. You know, the consensus. Like we were like crying at the end, essentially. You know,
yeah.
it was
The three of us were like,
yeah,
that's good.
we recorded it.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was like a culmination of the last 3 years. And us, I don't know. You know, it's
3 seasons, 5
special.
years.
5 years.
And-
Wow.
What was really awesome about the end too was that like how like in the very beginning, Hunter and Omega made that connection, right? Where like he was dad, right, quote unquote. But
He
then
was,
like
like,
she
the
went
number one,
through
right.
she went through connecting with each of the Batchers, and this season was all Crosshair. But then just like to circle back to the beginning of the story, it was just, you know, we wish we saw old Crosshair and Record Echo just to see what was going on. But the impact of just showing Hunter and Omega have that moment and him saying, "You're good. You go on your way," you know,
We
and
trust
we'll,
you,
we'll
right?
yeah, and we'll be here for you when you need us, which we'll talk about later. Oh, David Neff. Toothpick for a
Crosshair
hand.
could just have a giant
Yes.
toothpick for a hand. Yeah, it'd just be a
I'm in. I'm in.
like a steak.
That line that Omega said of I've been training for this my whole life. Like when she's with the kids and the kids are like, "Are you sure?" You know, those kids are freaking out.
She was
And
the
then-
leader. Boom.
And then the one who didn't want to go up the tall ladder, she's like,
Yep.
she's like, "Hey, my brother is the strongest there is, and he's afraid of heights." Like,
yeah,
you're
he's
gonna-
afraid of heights and he's the
That
strongest one I
story,
know.
that story, like, oh, dude, that's a leader right there. That's a sign of a
Yeah.
leader. Everything was
Huge.
preparing. This whole season was to get Omega to do what she's doing now. That's what's awesome.
And it showed you the evolution too, because at the end, she's literally going off to join the rebellion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
what Luke
They need
did,
help.
what Leia did, what Han did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's sick.
How cool. So
Now I
she's
kind of
in
want
there.
Which means
I kind of wanted to look for her ship. That ship, like
Yeah.
in Rogue. You know, are we going to see like those ships showing up in one of her ships? I've never
Could have
seen that
been
ship
there.
before.
Right.
Now we got to go back
It
and
could
look.
be.
Now you got to see if it's there. Right.
Yeah, is it one of the ships that showed up? I don't know.
Shoot.
I was just for me, 11 out of 10 episode. It ended the way I wanted it exactly to end. I could tell that this, I mean, they had 3 directors on this episode. And we do know from, not secret acquaintances that we have, anonymous acquaintances that we have within the organization, that this is an episode that has been written and rewritten and gone over, and this was like edited and just brought to a perfection. Like, this is an episode that they put so much thought into, not just for being the end of a 3-season arc, but literally like a swan song to the fans, a love letter to the fans. I think that if they had killed off any more Batchers, there's no reason for that. So I do like what they did with the happy ending. It really made season 2. This felt like this felt like the Return of the Jedi moment, right? When the Ewoks are celebrating and everything's right in the galaxy,
Yeah.
Totally.
And it really,
yeah. Totally.
and it really gives, like, now when you look at the series as a whole, it gives season 2 that Empire Strikes Back feeling. Where by the end of it, it's just they're at their lowest point. Tech literally hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good, Steven.
Bro.
That's real good.
I mean, this is, if I wasn't like, a costumer for Bad Batch or whatever, this is a series that I would absolutely recommend to go back and watch over, just like Rebels. There was a lot of things in the episode that I was just really happy about, that choices that they made. Joe, you had mentioned earlier the black and white stuff. Dude, when they show the helmets in the intro, they're blacked out. Like, stuff is gonna get serious.
It was dark.
The title card was blacked out. The entire episode felt like it was blacked out. The music in this episode, I mentioned it. I had to pause it at one moment because I was just like, the Kiners hit it out of the park.
Yeah, for sure.
When they were going through the jungle in the beginning, the stress that I was feeling, the tense, it was, I had to like stop myself for a moment and say, oh, it's the music. It was that good.
Yep.
Oh gosh. And then the fact that Emery, like, she fulfilled, I guess, her destiny, or whatever you want to call it, of now, like, atoning and taking care of the kids, and I guess that just goes to show, it speaks to how powerful Omega can be, right? Because she got through to Crosshair, she got through to Nala Se, she got through to Emery. Too bad she never got through to Sid, but I'm glad we never saw her again. Some other highlights, just, I felt like we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go through the breakdown in a minute, but the final scene, the final showdown, the climax, when you had Hunter and Crosshair on the bridge, trying to rescue Omega from Hemlock, thank you. I felt like, and this could just be me, but I felt like it was such a deliberate choice on the scenery of the heavy rain at the 45-degree angle.
Felt like Camino.
it felt like Camino. Like it just like circled back, you know? And I thought that was really beautiful. I thought it was like a full circle moment. Man, I mean, dude, Wrecker, the whole episode, I was just so nervous for Wrecker. Like, oh, I don't feel good. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, you know, I'm like thinking to myself, is Wrecker gonna die from internal bleeding? Like,
when he dove against one of those dudes and they fell down, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm like,
I thought
that was like after several scares, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, that final time with the CX.
yeah.
Right?
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where it happens, and he was fine.
He was also violently murking those CX guys. Like,
Oh, yeah.
smashing
Him and
them
Echo,
through
too.
walls and stuff.
They were
Dude.
crushing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
gotta rewatch.
Guys, speaking about CXs, look, we
need to do theories at the end.
You mean the Praetorian clones of Ren?
Because Echo hasn't gone. Raimi hasn't gone yet.
Oh yeah, Raimi needs to go.
We need to theorize at the end.
Okay,
Raimi's got a
Raimi,
rant.
just give it to us, dude. What's your opinion on these CXs?
Give us a hint.
So I'm not I am a fan of what they could have done with that. I feel like there were some missed opportunities with it. I joke at the Praetorian clones of Ren, right? Because like we've seen this formula where you get an ominous group of baddies that you think, oh man, it's about to get real. And then they kind of end up being inconsequential. Like we've seen it with the Knights of Ren, the Praetorian Guards, both in The Last Jedi and in Mandalorian, and there's consequences. Yeah, and
the Dark Troopers,
the Night Troopers, like
or whatever.
They keep giving us these things these groups of soldiers that could be really cool and
like
compelling
one-off.
stories, and then kind of don't do anything with it, which is a little bummed. Like I kind of wanted them to be like, I know we didn't want CX to be tech specifically, but I would have been okay with there being one that was like tech, as long as there was one that was like Hunter and another one that was like Wrecker. And like, what if they actually tried to clone the Bad Batch and turn them into the CX droids or troopers, and like then they would have been that would have been interesting.
Like Shadow.
Like
and
a
I
Shadow,
kind of thought, because some
Shadow
of
Clone Force.
they had different physicalities
Clone
when
Force
they started activating them and they were coming out of the thing. I thought, oh man, that one's going to be the Wrecker one, and there's the cross. Like, oh, here we go. And then they didn't do it, so I was a little bummed that they didn't go there. But
yeah,
there was so much. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think it's kind of for me. I see it as a continuation. Like you have Delta, or you had the Commandos, which were trained a certain way, so that was an elite group. You've always had these groups that were kind of elite and set apart. I just saw them as, well, these folks. You know, we saw them getting zapped, right? We saw Hunter in that one, I guess, training shell where they trained the other CXs,
Like a conditioning thing, yeah.
Conditioning, and obviously, you know, what's his name? Not Rampart. Gosh,
Hemlock.
Hemlock was about how I was gonna say Brian, how Crosshair like pushed it back, how Crosshair didn't like turn over. So keep going, Raimi. Sorry. I'm just kind of
one thing that I noticed, like we see them when they're going through and they're shooting other clones and like they're trying to escape from Camino or Tantus the first time or whatever, like they're shooting stun rounds. Right? It's the blue, like the little blue splats that stuns them. They were not shooting stun rounds last night.
No.
And not only that, like I don't think I saw them shoot anyone less than 3 times. Like Hemlock,
Hemlock?
Scorch, they all got hit multiple times. Like boom, 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 boom. They're still falling down. Boom. Like I was expecting somebody to like walk over a dead body and shoot that.
Yeah, they murdered that.
It's called a safe round.
But when Omega picked up a gun and started firing, that one was shooting stun. And I thought that was interesting because there are very strict rules in the film industry about kids firing weapons.
Oh.
Even in animation, they honored that, which was a smooth move, I thought. So
isn't she older than Rebecca?
Yeah, in fact, so there's a story like the and I I don't remember anybody's names. What's the kid's name in The Walking Dead? Carl? Is that the little kid's? Like he grows up.
Oh yeah.
Like they made a big deal about the minute he turned 18, they put a revolver in his hand on set. Been like, now it's go time. Like he couldn't shoot that gun until then because you're not allowed to show a kid firing a weapon. But so that even in animation they did that, which was cool.
We did forget something that I think we need to bring up too is Nalase and what she did, like how she sacrificed herself.
Oh,
with the thermal detonator.
And there was a lot going on in that scene to unpack.
With
a
thermal detonator.
Gotta hand it to her. She put in her work. So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the episode breakdown. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go ahead and add this. We kind of have to talk over it, like we always, mention.
I love how the title of this. That's the first thing that Wrecker says in season 7 when the Bad Batch walk off the Havoc Marauder for the very first time. That's the very first line.
Cavalry has arrived.
So sick.
Full circle.
All right, so I'm gonna jump on this 10-second intervals so that we can just talk about this scene by scene. But yeah, I you know what? I don't want to narrate. You guys narrate whatever we see here, and we can talk about it.
Well, that's really dark. So
it's dark.
It's dark. Yeah,
It's dark. It's really dark. They're in the jungle.
They're in the dark jungle.
And Wrecker's beat up. He's like, "Hey, this hurts. This hurts. Let's run up this hill. I'll be fine. I'll be fine." And where are we at?
Here I think we see Hemlock, and he's dispatching his troops, and he's now visiting Rampart in Rampart's cell.
I love it when it's so like when the plan is laid out, and that's what Rampart wanted, is like, "Hey, so what's your plan?" And it's like, "Well, it's about Omega." He's like, "Well, what's the big deal about Omega?" He's trying to get Rampart to spill the beans, and what he gets out of it is, "Oh, you'll be indispensable." With Omega. That means I need to get Omega. I need to make sure that I'm relevant, right? So he's trying to find a way, but it's always like, "Hey, spill the beans," instead of just whacking them right there in the cell.
Yeah,
classic. And Rampart,
classic villain.
Rampart wasn't even scared of him. He was just like, "What are you doing? What's going on here?" Like he didn't even seem worried at all that his life was in danger at any moment.
Yeah, it's all about self-preservation. Rampart didn't change one bit, which that's just fine. We hate him.
We've got some Rampart theories that we want to talk about at the end of the show, so bookmark that. Here we see Emery and Echo, and Echo's trying to find the vault to the kids in the computer system, but Hemlock keeps it too heavily guarded, and Emery says that she can get him inside. But
I love the two of them working together too. That was awesome.
Yeah, totally. But while they're on their way to the vault, we fast forward to Omega and the kids in the vault, and this is the scene where Omega is basically telling the kids, "Let's go."
The whole time, Emery and Echo are basically following the path of destruction that Omega's leaving in her wake. Like they get to wherever she was before, but not wherever she is now. Every time.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a little ahead, because right now they're basically planning their escape, and they need to get Dr. Is it Sadler or Adler? Scalder, Dr. Scalder. They need to get Dr. Scalder out of the way. So here we go again. Omega, she just gets the droid to follow her and the other kids into the cell so that she can hack it. Who probably, I don't know, Tech
must have taught her that. Yeah.
Well, and didn't the kids ask her, "Oh, have you done this before?" And she was like, "Yeah, but not on this droid or something like that."
Not on
like
this
she made
type.
some kind of comment. Yeah.
And her plan works. Dr. Scalder comes out. She's like, "Where's the kids?" And they get the droid to basically knock Scalder out. I love the scene when Omega, this
there.
scene right here,
That one.
when Omega's
Yeah.
going into getting all the kids into the crap chute or whatever it's called, and we get Bayern on the back of Jax, and then the other kid has little trash Lula strapped on her back. That was amazing.
So cute.
That was
It was
cute.
very cute. Yeah.
Dude, they did the kids really well. They did the kids
Yeah,
really
the kids
well.
were awesome.
There's one little piece of detail that I wanted to mention a couple weeks ago, but on the bottom of the shoes of these kids, they're just like flat. But for Bairn, the little baby, they gave him or her, they gave the baby like a little footprint pad on the bottom of its shoe. I don't know why. It's just I thought it was cute. That way when it's like making steps, it's like leaving little footprints around. Anyway.
Oh,
super cute.
Okay.
Tobeans.
We cut back to the batch, and this is the scene that I think that we all felt like it was getting serious. Like this is it.
I
Ryan,
did
you're
want to
muted.
call out back on that. I did want to call on that last scene too, and Quinn Nova here in the chat put it that they were playing Omega's theme song when this was happening right here.
Mhm.
You're right.
Which I was like,
It's been a minute since we've heard that too.
Yeah.
it was subtle and it was like a different version of it, but it added so much to that moment. It was awesome.
Brian, you want to talk this scene?
I mean, this is when Crosshair was saying he needed to sacrifice himself for them, that there wasn't another way, that he had to do it and put himself up as a sacrifice for what they were trying to do. And just, I mean, another moment where these guys are solidifying that they're a team. And he made that tech comment too. That was rough. That was rough. Because for a minute, I thought he was making enough of a case that they were going to go, okay, go ahead, Crosshair. Like, because that whole kind of scene kind of like went on for a little bit, right? Where he's like, Clone Force 99's dead, blah, blah, blah. And it made this like super, like it solidified. After that moment, there was no talk of that anymore. It's like their group, because I thought they were going to die as a group. So, but
I think this is the moment that Crosshair. I mean, if there's any moment that Crosshair is going to display survivor's guilt, we had the Mayday episode, which alluded to it, but I think this one, he really, without being blatantly said, I think he really blamed himself for Tech's death. I mean, he brought it up. He said the Clone Force 99 ended with Tech. And I feel like he just wanted to go in guns blazing because maybe he felt he deserved it.
Yeah, he said it. He said it as much.
I mean, it felt like hope was lost too, right? Like they thought plans were falling apart,
And then Wrecker just smacks some sense into him.
Yeah, and then that feeling that Crosshair must have felt when Wrecker and Hunter said, "No, we're going together." Like that feeling he must have felt is like, wow, like this is what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be this.
Like he still blames himself, but yet they don't blame him.
Right.
They still support him, even though he feels he's a failure and he let them down.
Yeah, that was that small scene, but it was done so well.
I think this is the moment that Crosshair. I don't want to overanalyze this too much, but I feel like this is the moment where Crosshair forgives himself.
I can see that.
You know? I mean, we've finally seen the full 360 of Crosshair.
Yep.
All right. Next scene, we get Echo and Emery, and they're making their way to the vault. Little do they know that the vault is not only going to be empty, but it's going to have what looks like a passed out or dead body in there for Scalder. So then we cut back to the kids, and they've made their way up the wall, and they're hovering over the Zillow Beast. And man, Omega again, just pulling through. She knows exactly what to do. She shuts down the Zillow Beast containment unit. I almost feel like she took into consideration that the kids were gonna make noise or that the baby might cry, and uses that as a diversion so that she can do what she needs to do.
Very Godzilla-esque scene right there.
Zillow there.
There's linguini hands and everything right here.
Yeah. Them linguini fingers.
Weenie sounds good right now.
And then of course we see, was it Bairn, the baby, who was just crying a minute ago?
All of a sudden calls.
Just all of a sudden falls asleep when all the blasting happens.
That's funny how they pointed that out.
Typical baby.
It'd be like that. Yep.
All right, and now we've got Echo and Emery. They're back in the vault, kind of seeing what's going on here. Hemlock has basically said that Scalder has been relieved of her duty, and Emery is basically now in charge of getting the kids back. It's at this point when we hear that Scorch gets the call that the Zillow Beast is released. Oh man. And the first thing that Echo says is like
Omega.
Oh. It's Omega. Yeah.
It's Omega. Yeah.
And she's like, how would you know? Because that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, she's trained. She's trained really well.
I like how the other guys like hear of all of this going on and that, and they're like, they look at each other like, Echo or Omega? Like, Omega.
Omega.
Yeah.
Oh, they said that when they were outside, right? Because they saw the Zillow Beast escape.
Yeah. And they just kind of look at each other like, okay.
That's Omega.
Wait, so is the thing on the back really a third leg?
Look at it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a tripod.
Isn't there usually another like hand on that one? Like, did this poor Zillow Beast lose a hand like Crosshair and Echo and everyone else? Like,
no.
Ryan, what are you doing on the camera, dude?
I don't know.
It would be a fifth. It would be a fifth hand too. Just
He's
for
exercised his
finger.
hand.
fifth leg.
It's his weenus.
Oh god.
But the part of the elbow. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Weenus appendage.
It's that part. Right there.
Oh, we were way far ahead. I think this is the moment when he says he's going to go in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because it's at this point when Hunter tells Hunter, like, don't even think about Plan 99.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We'll go. Yeah.
That's when it
So we
breaks
s-
out.
We see the Zillow Beast escape, but we don't see what happens to it after, right? This is the last we see. of it.
No, it just
It
wanders off.
destroys the
That's the
island.
follow-on show. Zillow Beast.
Zillow on
On its way
Disney
to
Plus.
Dee's house.
Dude. Yeah.
Zillow Wars.
Zillow.
So the batch takes this opportunity. They don't want to waste it, so they make their way into the I guess the area that the Zillow Beast escaped, which happens to be the same area that the kids are climbing up to.
Doo-doo-doo.
Free Zilly. Sorry.
Free Zilly.
Silly.
Quinn. Oh, that was funny.
Okay, I just looked up the Zillow Beast, and that there is typically another hand on the back of that appendage. I'm
So it
looking
was
at-
cut off.
Oh,
I
so
think
maybe they
it's-
cut
that
it.
one
Yeah.
lost his hand somehow. Like maybe
Maybe
that
it was
was
just the eat
one from
angle.
earlier in the show, and he lost a hand there, and I just don't remember.
Easter egg.
Zillow started a new life in real estate.
Zillow W.
Zillow.
Yes.
Zillow.com.
Nice dragon. That was from Dragon in the chat.
So
Yeah,
good.
the CX fights were intense.
Oh man. People
Here
in
we
the chat.
see Hemlock, and he's basically instructing Scorch to let them in because he knows at this point that the batch is going to go for Omega. We see Hemlock, and he unlocks the training facility for these CXs. I mean, this was giving me like Knight of Ren vibes here, or something, right? Like
So,
the
Watch them
red.
be the Knights of Ren.
I mean, my vision I had with this and with the way Hemlock's story ended was that these guys look like the Knights of Ren. Like, there's no denying that. I mean, they had vibro blades and the type of stuff. The helmets were very reminiscent. Their whole outfit was very Knights of Ren reminiscent. Hemlock dies. Hemlock's working on clones. Someone picks up Necromancer, right? Because of what happens in the sequels. So does whatever this work that has been done here gets applied to force sensitive people, whatever. I mean, were the Knights of Ren created during Kylo's time when they were trying to bring back the Emperor? It would be a cool tie-in. It really would. I mean, and it would, I think it would make sense. So,
John, what's the history? What established history do we have on Knights of
So
Ren?
I'm not sure. I don't know about like the race of the people under the helmets, but they were part of a gang, and there was a guy called Ren, and it wasn't Ben Solo. It was a dude called Ren, and he had a mask, and he was the leader of the Knights of Ren because he was Ren, and Kylo Ren took his name after he killed him, But I as far as the Knights of Ren, I don't know much about them.
How they came to be, we don't know.
Yeah, they were already. I think they were already
a thing,
gang in the comic, but they didn't introduce. It wasn't like an origin story.
Did
It
they
was
ever
more
show
like-
the faces of the Knights of Ren?
I don't think so. They showed the main guy's face, Ren.
Yeah,
they showed his face plenty of times, and he was like a white-haired dude. Always had his shirt off. He had like scarring and stuff.
Yeah, because I can totally I get what Brian's saying, because there's a lot of like language, design language that's extremely similar to the Knights of Ren with the helmets and the weapons, and it's just it's too similar to ignore.
Yeah, like look at these.
it would make sense, right? Like this is like phase one, because he was experimenting on clones to try to develop Necromancer.
But they're all
right?
different,
But look, like there's like the one on the left is what, either maybe Tech or Echo. The one next to him
my
is,
God,
is the
yeah.
Wrecker one. Then Crosshair with the long rifle, and Hunter's on the right.
Hunter on the right.
Like,
Yep.
Hey, our friend Eric Fisher, he said wasn't a few of the Knights are members from Crimson Dawn.
I don't know.
Oh, we skipped
If
over us.
Well,
we're getting to that.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
The comic
Well,
canon. Yeah, I don't know.
The
I haven't.
Knights of Ren, members of Crimson Dawn.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If he's saying it's comic canon, then I believe it.
I like that. I like that, Eric.
Yeah,
That's
I
gonna-
like comic canon. I
like
respect the comic canon.
Stay
Where are you
tuned.
going with this,
Stay
Steven?
tuned.
Where are you going with this,
we'll,
Steven?
we'll see
got
in a
something.
moment.
We got some cooking.
Oh my gosh. So when the batch gets captured and they literally lose to these CXs, I mean, Wrecker's getting stabbed in the chest, electrocuted. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's gonna escape. There's gonna be like, there's gonna be some last minute shenanigans that happen that they get out of this, and then we see our classic CX dude who we saw in the previous episodes this season, and he takes the little vibro sword or whatever. He's like, we got to get the kids first.
Yeah.
Man, I mean,
Mission priority.
Echo Echo really
dude.
is the space mom of this group.
He's
Like,
going through
just
it, handling.
priorities are never derailed for this guy.
Yeah, everything's
Super.
done in order.
Super clear.
Pro. Oh. Boom. He's like, "Hey, Havoc 5." She's like, "What? Echo?"
I mean,
Yeah.
the level of trust that I think Echo gave to Emery here to take the kids to Pabu and giving her the location to Pabu. I don't know if I was Echo, I don't know if I could do that.
But he probably realized, like, you know, she's a clone too. And after, I mean, she didn't rat him out, you know, she basically joined him and started helping him. So
She's proved herself at this
it's
point.
not like, oh, finally, now I'll get the kids and go. Like, no, like she's
Yeah.
part of the crew. Yeah. I think. I would think.
Omega's confidence is so awesome in this episode. Like even when she sees Echo, she doesn't run and hug him like, "Oh my gosh." No, she was like, "No, there you are."
She's a
She was-
pro. Yeah.
She's so confident. You know what I mean? She had no doubt.
Yeah, look at her. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Confidence is spewing out of her. She's like,
Right. Yep.
Yeah. She's like, "Follow me, kids. We're getting out of here." Oof.
Zap.
Did you guys actually think that Hemlock really intended for the batch to get brainwashed, or was he just torturing them out of spite here?
Well,
I think he was trying. Because he
Yeah.
tried it on Crosshair.
And he's like, "Yeah, if you survive this, you'll be like awesome soldiers or whatever."
Yep. I think he was
And
trying.
Look at Crosshair, no arm, no hand. Oof. Oof.
they capped it off pretty
They
quick.
capped it, dude. Yeah, looks like Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Makes that sound when they put it on.
It's a
When he
Pringle.
takes it off, to clean it,
It's a
like
Pringle
soda.
can. It's a Pringle can.
Oh man.
Comes with different scents and smells like barbecue or seraphim and chives.
Here we finally get the breakout. They're breaking out all the clones from the prison. They're arming them up with blasters, and then we finally get Nala Se kind of reunite with Omega.
Omega.
Man, yeah, that scene right here.
You're like, just say it. Just say
Just-
the thing. Say what you gotta
I
say.
must not allow my science
Like, we got caught. Thank you, now. Say we're caught.
to remain in the Empire's hands. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good.
And then we get word, Hemlock gets word that Tarkin's on his way, and the Empire has been alerted that they've actually lost control of the base.
The Zillow Beast. It's like,
The Zillow Beast is attacking John.
You okay there, John?
Dog, this got his face.
John's dog is literally sitting on his face,
Oh my god, look at it, dude.
licking it.
That's not what's happening. She's just standing up on me.
Loving your
No,
face.
she's licking your face, dude.
She won't leave me alone, so I picked her up, and now she's going crazy. Anyway, go on, guys.
So we get Nala Se, and she's making her way to the lab because, at this point we kind of understand as the viewer that she's going to blow up the lab with herself in it. She needs to make things right. She needs to blow up all the data. She picks up a thermal detonator that she finds off of one of the troopers. But what she doesn't know is that behind her this whole time has been Rampart following her for reasons unknown yet.
Update.
We get Nala Se in the lab. She's accessing all the files. She hears the gun click, she hears the blaster click from Rampart, and he's like, "Tell me everything about Project Necromancer." And then they cut the scene because they don't want us to know anything about it yet. We go back to the fight, or it's actually they haven't fought yet, but Omega, the clones, Echo, they're here to now rescue the batch. They start fighting the CX clones. And man, I kind of felt bad for these clones that were the prisoner clones because they were just getting picked off. It's like super easy, one by one.
Well, they're like emaciated prisoners that have been there for a year or more. You know, they're doing what they can. Essentially, they're like prisoners of war, probably not being treated very well.
Rampart is accessing all of the Project Necromancer data, and he's uploading it to the data pad. Now, this wouldn't really matter because everything eventually blows up, right? But if you freeze frame it right here where they show the data pad, you can clearly see the Crimson Dawn logo on the data pad. And if you translate the Arabesh, it says transmission in progress.
And during this time, who's in charge of Crimson Dawn?
Anybody?
Pee Wee Herman.
I mean, I know the answer. I know Steven knows the answer.
Maul.
Bueller, Darth
Darth
Maul.
Maul.
Darth Boris.
Or just Maul.
So,
Borat.
you know, we know the history of Darth Maul and the Emperor. From what we know in media, Emperor eventually kind of does the Project Necromancer thing because he eventually comes back somehow. But you know, at what cost? Because Maul is in charge and in possession of all the Necromancer data at this point. I think, and we can speculate here because I want to hear what you guys think. I think this is the little seed that we get for the next show. I think we're going to see Crimson Dawn. I think we're going to see the Underworld, which is going to bring us, what's her name? Saj.
Oh, so yeah.
Kira.
Dude, maybe we're going to get Omega somehow in this. I don't know, but I'm so happy that they snuck this in.
Dude, when you threw that out at us, you and Raimi, right? I think you and Raimi did it at the same time, pretty much. They were like, "Oh, the Arabish says this," and then you sent the logo. I was all, "Oh, whoa!"
Maul just bought himself a seat at the table again.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Maul's objective this whole time has been to take down the Emperor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm in.
Yeah. The Emperor's created, like, everything's been so planned. Maul knows the one thing he's good at, and it's the one thing that the Emperor can't predict, is the chaos. So by Maul basically just seeding chaos out there in the galaxy through the crime syndicates, it creates enough unpredictability that the Emperor can't see where he's coming from.
And Rampart is no fan of the Emperor or the Empire anymore. So
yeah, but it's not like he was making these connections when he was sitting in the jail cell on Tantive. Like he knew about Crimson Dawn and he had this hookup before, one way or another. So
that's true. Yeah,
it's not like it's not like he had Maul on speed dial at the last minute. He had to have known how to reach him in advance.
So the thing that one of our listeners brought up earlier, Eric, that the Knights of Ren originally worked for Crimson Dawn. What if Maul, John?
Sorry, in the comics, right?
In the comics,
right?
What if the Knights of Ren really are somehow derivative clones of the CXs?
I mean,
you know,
it's
what if
not
Maul,
so far-fetched, yeah.
Right. What if Maul actually experimented with this cloning procedure and he's like, well, I can't make Force-sensitive clones. At least I can make some
Loyal
badass
clones.
CX clones.
Mm-hmm. I mean, There's a story there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Puzzle pieces.
And then, of course, we see Nala say, and she's just like, well, you know, you have all your data. Boom. We blow up.
She just
Um,
said it slower though. You
Much
have
slower.
all
He's like, I'm out of here.
your data.
You're taking too long. Bye.
Boom.
Knights of Ren are force sensitive. All the Knights of Ren are force sensitive, though.
Oh,
Are they?
are they?
I didn't see any of them use the force.
Not proven, number one, but then also number two, Project Necromancer, they were searching for M counts. M counts.
Macaroni counts. So we go back to the Bad Batch and they're fighting. Now they're being gassed out. But at this point, Hemlock has taken Omega hostage. What's up,
This
dude?
was like Thor in Infinity War. When the axe was coming to his hand, how it kept cutting to Wrecker, and it was like dun 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 dun, and you could just tell he was about to just raw. That was so good. He was so mad. It was sick.
Dude.
I wish we could listen to it.
I know I told you guys that I didn't want to make the season 3 armor because it's just the season 2 armor that's black. But I would do this one right here because of that big gash in his chest. That looks bad. I like that.
Just do the chest, right?
I just got to do a third chest piece with a big hole in it.
Yeah.
His shoulder too, like his shoulder, that one shoulder's jacked as well.
He got beat up.
Yeah,
he got beat up.
Steven's got a big printer. This whole fight with them was pretty sick. They were going at it.
I felt the pace. I felt the pace for this episode was so good too. Like the fight scenes weren't too long, weren't too short. I mean, yeah. So sometimes it seems like things are sped up because you have 30 minutes to tell the story. But here we had what 51 minutes or 52 minutes.
Yeah.
So we could. We could have more time. It was good.
Sophia laying it up with the beast mode Wrecker. That was sick. Yeah.
Oh, see, when Echo goes to check on Wrecker, I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead at this point, or I thought there was going to be some like final words, like,
yep,
you know, like use the Force, Echo, or something.
Yeah, because your boy was haggard right here, dude. Yeah. He looked like he was about to pass out.
And then we see Hemlock, and he calls over the CX ship. Which, you know what? I mean, now that I look at the CX ship, it's got the same design language as the Knights of Ren, like their ship. It's too similar.
Well, their ship was a little different. They had like a minivan ship too. It wasn't sleek and nice like that.
Well, you know, that's
like
in the future. It's been upgraded.
I wasn't sure how they were going to stop him, but I loved how that shot hit the engine of this thing. That it was probably an obvious shot, but I thought it was cool. I was like cheering big time.
Dude,
when the ship got shot out,
look at this,
and then these two are here.
Yeah, that was so sick. This scene was rad.
It just made me so happy to see Hunter and Crosshair just like not only bury the hatchet, but man, they were in sync.
It was so natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter was right there giving him a hand the whole time.
They didn't have to communicate. They didn't have to communicate. Like there was until the moment where he's having to take the shot. Like Hunter gets into position, Crosshair leans the right.
Crosshair, no worries with his hand. He don't need a doctor. He don't need any.
He already had it taken care of. Literally, they had it. They closed it up.
They put a Pringle.
They put a Pringle lid on it.
Pringle lid.
Can lid on the tip. Yeah.
Can lid. Then if you get one,
that's a shot right there, dude.
Yeah,
what
that's
a good
cool.
shot. Happy.
Oh yeah, here Nova put this in here. Quinn, we all get to choose what we want to be now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was it.
We could
Yep.
choose.
You know what they choose? To be a family.
Mm-hmm.
Sashimi.
Mhm.
And- and some
Mhm.
They chose sashimi.
Bum, bum.
And that's it. That's it for the show.
No, it's a little bit more.
Or is
Or
it?
is it?
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Okay, like
So-
I thought this was Tantus at first. Like
Me
I
too.
was like,
Me too.
oh,
Yeah.
Same.
Oh,
Yeah,
flattened.
me too. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
Pabu.
No, it's Pabu at night.
It's Pop.
And then I was like,
Zillow
and then we were all like, who is
Yeah,
this?
we were like, what
it-
is
is
that? Is that?
I was-
Is it?
Oh, it's Fee. It's got to be Fee.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I thought it might have been massage
Boom.
for a second, but
And I
no.
thought we were delirious. I'm like, why does she look so old?
I want to go back and try and put
Flash forward.
these pictures next to Emery and compare the two. Because
Oh,
theoretically, they should look the
It
same.
should be the same.
Similar model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's blonde. Why is she blonde? And everyone else is a brunette,
That's true.
except for Rex. Maybe?
Well, remember they
She's
had
special.
the dude with the curly hair, and then they had the guy with the John Rodriguez mustache, and then they had all kinds of
You can have
Mhm.
different.
yeah,
Rex
they do what they
Rex had blonde hair.
blonde hair.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, Rex, except for Rex. Whatever.
Dude, Hunter is looking ragged right here.
Bro,
Looking old. He's
I
old.
want this costume.
He's old.
He's comfy, dude.
Look at
He's
those-
old and
Like you could
hunchback.
be
I mean,
Those boots are rad.
He's
he's-
chilling. What's
he's
the
got to
problem?
be. He's got to be what 50, maybe 60 here. 60.
Well,
chilling,
okay,
man.
so we were thinking about this, right?
Probably
Like
40.
at the
He's mid 60s, right there.
at the end
Jeez,
of the show, we
years.
saw
Like
Omega,
age.
and she's
Oh.
probably 10 or 11, right?
But how old are they? Are they like in their 20s or like 30s when they're like full grown? You know,
I don't know.
what age was Django?
We'll
Or
say
what?
30,
Right,
Say
like 30. So if it's
30,
been 10 years,
35. Yeah.
40, 45.
See, this kind of this gives us a lot of insight as to how the clones really do have their accelerated aging.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of, at least myself, I've always thought that they hit like the full grown right away, and then they kind of
Right.
stop, right? And then like the rest of their life is just normal aging. But we can see here that Omega is not 20, 30 years older. Omega looks like she's only maybe 10 years older. She's talking about fighting in the rebellion.
Which lines up?
Yeah, which lines up. So the fact that we're seeing Hunter look like this, yeah, they age at an accelerated rate all the way.
I was
all the way
hoping.
through.
I was
Yeah,
hoping
but-
the Bad Batch where didn't have the accelerator. I was hoping that they would be, they would have it up to a certain point, but then they would stop.
Right.
Specifically these guys.
And also, he has a beard and he's got like a little bit of gray. That's it. He doesn't look that much older. Otherwise, his hair's long.
His facial features look more wrinkled, dude. Look
Looks
at it.
the same.
Looks the same. Looks older.
I can confirm that a beard with a little bit of gray in it does not necessarily mean you're older than 50.
Yeah, because I have a lot of gray in my beard, and so do you, Raimi. Actually,
I think
Yeah.
he's older there. He's
I
old.
don't-
Okay, so what are we saying? In 10
30.
years, this dude doubled in age.
Well, I mean, look
Oh,
how
man.
old
He's
Obi-Wan.
now 50.
Look how old Obi-Wan got on Tatooine. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
well, those are twin sons, though. It's a little different.
Help me get up.
This is Pabu life. This is Pabu life.
And they're eating sushi, chilling on the beach. He's aging slow.
Dude, Wrecker is probably so big. He's
What's that?
just like, he's like, unlimited sushi for the rest of my life.
He looks like the mayor, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, basically we see an older Omega, and she's
That would have been fitting as well.
right.
But I do like this better. I would
I
have been
love
fine with the
this,
other.
dude. Because we were complaining
thought
about that
this-
earlier. Like, why don't any of these people get happy endings? Like, why doesn't anyone just live happily ever after? It's okay. Like, we don't know if they live
Well-
happily ever after, but at least they survive. They survive their story, which is
It's gonna be hard for Crosshair to have a happy ending with a hand missing.
oh, you're gonna. Can we mark that?
all right, guys. Before we head out here, just wanted to get overall thoughts from each of you, each of us. Overall thoughts of the series. Just what everything's meant to you. I mean, this
Well,
is it. This is the end
I
of the Bad Batch.
I just want to say, not only did it bring us together, but it brought, a community of people that also fell in love with these characters, and that they're with us. Some are with us here in the YouTube, and some are in the broadcast channel, and some are following us, on our Instagram or whatever. And I think that's the most special thing. Obviously, the show resonates for all of us in different ways, but it kind of, see, there's people thanking us and stuff like it's brought all of us together, and I think that's very special. Very special. Oh, and the stream is unavailable. Something happened to the YouTube. Right? Suspended? Nope. Yep. Nope. Anyway. Am I muted? Are we? Someone's muted. Steve. Okay. Well,
Keep going. Keep going. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, though, yeah, it started off as a 4-episode arc, and it turned into a 3-season masterpiece. I think. It went full circle, and like I said, I at least for me, we got what we wanted in the end for them, for the most part, and that's great. That's it. That's me.
Man,
No, I don't want to treat it like the end.
Yeah, go ahead, Remy.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't looking at the screen. I didn't realize somebody was. I'm not going to treat it like the end. I just this. How many times have we seen characters from a show called one thing show up in a show called something else? So I think we're going to get more of these stories. They're not dead. I'm happy.
Well, we know they survive at least 10 years, give or take, so they might be peppered in somewhere.
That's right. We have no idea what happened in the meantime. Did they stay on Pabu the whole time?
Right.
They really
Maybe
made it
they'll
get
cameo.
back there, but so.
Yeah, looking back at everything now from the beginning, watching season 1 and seeing Omega, I think for a lot of people are kind of probably going, oh man, a kid getting thrown in the mix of these really cool characters, of these fighters, and this, awesome Clone Force 99 gang, to now she is very much integrated into the squad, and it's a family. So just seeing the whole development across 3 years was cool. And I know like people don't want to see Tech gone forever. I was one of the first to say, I think that's it. Like that's it after season 2. This is all for a reason. It's not, and it would, I don't want to use the word cheapen the death, so I won't say that, but I'm, something maybe less than, I don't know. It was all for Omega. It's all for the squad. It's all for beyond yourself. And I think that's the lesson that I say, and I say lesson. These writers also have an obligation. I think they take on themselves, not just to tell stories, but also help us understand our own real life. Loss is a real thing, and it's a real emotion. And almost always you go through denial. You go through, no, this isn't happening right now. You refuse to believe the truth. That's a real emotion. We've all felt it when we have pain, and we're watching it unfold in these fictional characters that we've grown to appreciate and connect with. And I think it's a very healthy way to display and help us see, give an example of how it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to be in denial. It's okay to want, your favorite characters to continue on, and it's okay to theorize. What if there's still hope? I think that's a great thing. So I hope no matter which stand you side on with these characters, where, oh, I love the ending, or I wish it was more this way or that way, it's all good. Like, it's all good. I think that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of Star Wars. We won't have everything filled out perfectly where one story leads to the next story and unfolds, and now we have the Knights of Ren. Like, if we don't get that connection, it's okay. And if we do, awesome. Just take it for what it's worth and have fun. And then be respectful of other people's opinions. I think that's another thing that I hope people are picking up on across these 3 years is listen to one another. Don't don't bash people's opinions. Just listen and say, okay, well, thank you, interesting. Here's my theory, and just share in dialogue. I think that's one thing that I picked up a lot on from the people that listen to us in Instagram or all the shows and whatnot. So it's just cool to see the back and forth. Yeah, that's my take.
I'll speak for Brian. He is very happy that we all gave him a hand, and we'll give him a round of
Thank you.
applause later. Yeah,
Thanks.
there you go.
Oh,
Thanks.
you're back. You're
Thanks.
back.
You're back.
Yeah,
You're back.
yeah. My headphones keep dying. Thanks for filling in there. Thanks for giving me a hand, John, and
Okay.
filling in for me there. I really think so. Even the OT, right? None of them. Well, you learn at the end, but that they're family, right? That Han or Luke and Leia are brother and sister, but they're kind of like found family, right? Han, they all come together and they kind of build on that. And I think this whole series like elevated that to the next level, because I think, just like I said in that post that Star Wars made today, with D saying that it brought them together as a family, and it's brought everyone together as a family. And it's just echoing kind of what John said is this whole series ends up being about family, start to finish, the whole thing. And like what Joe's saying, accepting different opinions. Your family's like that too, right? You don't always get along with your cousin or your uncle or your grandpa or whatever. It's like, but like y'all come together when the time is needed, and you build on that family. And there's a great article on StarWars.com written by Dan Brooks. It's an interview with Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett, and I'm halfway through the interview, and it's really cool. It goes a little deeper into what we're talking about and what the whole series is and what it's for and what it's meant. And we've had the privilege of meeting them and kind of hearing it from them, and it just expands on that. So I urge everyone to kind of go on there and see how that feels for it. But family all the way around, that's what this has meant. So the last 3 years. So if they expand on it, cool. But if not, that's cool too. Just like Joe said. So that's my take.
I think that this series, this show, Bad Batch, has it's really changed my life in aspects that I never thought it would. I mean, before Bad Batch, I thought, just costuming in one of the Legion clubs was like the pinnacle of being a fan. But I think as much as this show has taught us about found family, I know that it helped a lot of people through not Bad Batch, the show specifically, but the Bad Batch. The characters I know helped a lot of people through pandemic times, when our culture worldwide was to be isolated, and we had to learn at one point how to talk to each other again. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to go radio silent and have your own opinions about things and feel that you're right and only you're right about everything, and then to go and all of a sudden have to talk to everybody again. And when that was happening, we were in the thick of this show, and to have a new community that was built from the fans of Bad Batch, I feel so fortunate to be a part of it, to just be one little voice in the whole thing. But there's so many people so many relationships that I've made because of this. And most importantly, I think, the Dad Batch, you guys, ourselves, right? I kind of knew all of you guys individually. I met Joe through this group, and man, lifelong friendships. You guys are my brothers. We will not, even the five of us will not see eye to eye on a lot of things. We haven't in the past, and I'm absolutely sure we won't in the future. But I love you guys like brothers, and it's all because of this show. It's all because of the five of us choosing to put on plastic spaceman costumes and running around in them, pretending to be that. So yeah, that's what it means for me, and I hope we get a lot more of it in the future. So
Hell yeah, Steven. Love you, bud. Give you a hand.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
One hand.
Put that shake weight down.
And I also want to say thank you to all of our listeners who have been with us from the first episode, or if this is your first episode, thank you for tuning in. You've tuned into the last episode of the Dad Batch podcast. Just kidding. We're still going. We're still going on. There's plenty more Star Wars to talk about.
Plan 99 is around the corner. Okay.
That's going to do it for us today. If you enjoyed listening to the show, feed that algorithm and leave a 5-star review on your podcast app. Be sure to include that cake emoji. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring that bell. Hit subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Do all the YouTube stuff. If you're one of the first 1,000 subscribers, you will be entered into a contest where you can win a Alpha Ignition helmet of your choice, casted by the Dad Batch and painted by our very own Dad Batch Joe Lara. You can follow me at Stevie.Kicks on Instagram, sometimes on X and Threads. It's defective and effective. Gentlemen, let the listeners know where they can find you. Brian?
You can catch me at Sippin' Ain't Easy. Habit Squad.
And John?
Alpha Ignition on the Instagram.
And Joe?
At thedadbatch.com.
And Raimi?
You can find me working on the newest show being added to the Dad Batch family of podcasts, Off the Rack Rebellion. So keep an eye out for that coming soon.
Off the Rack.
Thank you again, everybody, for listening to episode 90 of the Dad Batch podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 91. And until next time, may the 4th be with you, and enjoy your spice responsibly.